Hello everybody, welcome back to the Alvernia Campus Show. I am Kyle Rudar, and this gorgeous man to my left is Braden Livingston. Now, let's see what fake news he has for us today.
NASA is offering a $3 million prize to anyone creative enough to find ways to recycle human poop. The contest aims to find a way to dispose of 96 bags of human waste left behind by the Apollo astronauts in future ventures in space, and possibly find ways to store and recycle waste in a space environment to avoid sending it back to Earth. It'll be interesting to see what ideas people will throw at the wall, hoping it sticks.
Earlier this week, a small business jet crashed into the water after overshooting the runway at the Southwest Oregon Regional Airport in North Bend. The plane was arriving from Utah when it skidded on the runway early Monday morning. Thankfully, all 5 people on board had only minor injuries. Since the airport didn't have an active control tower at that hour, it took a bit of time for officials to confirm the plane's status. Just guys, please, stop crashing planes. It's enough.
This week, a very large and bored group of friends decided to break the world record for the most people wearing banana hats in one place. The St. Louis City Museum is where 309 people gathered to wear banana hats to break a very appealing world record.
The Minecraft movie just dropped, and so did All Sense of Order in American theaters. Teens are screaming now iconic lines by Jack Black like, "Flint and steel, they love crushing the loaf. La la lava, chicken, and I am Steve." The theater staff are hanging on by a thread, and popcorn buckets are exploding like creepers. Critics thought the movie was meh, but Gen Z heard that and said, nah, here's $300 million opening weekend. If you're planning on seeing it, just be prepared for World War III to break out when chicken jockey is said.
The multitude of tariffs that President Trump issued over the past few weeks, one territory has been hit the hardest. The herd in McDonald's Islands are home to a race of shorter individuals, penguins. These poor, hard-working, feathered friends are now paying 2 fish on the dime for all of their household goods. The gas for their miniature black and white cars is near impossible to afford in this economy.
This week, a viral video has been making the rounds on social media. Instead of TikTok challenges that defy all knowable laws of moral decency, this one is more lighthearted. The video contains former Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, driving through a park with his child sitting in his lap. When his driver comes to a crawl, an ostrich comes up to the open window and pecks at Boris. He exclaims slightly in pain before his child giggles innocently, turning this encounter into something more whimsical rather than something drum up negativity. Boris's wife posted the video to her Instagram when people have consistently found it adorable and wholesome. It seems the resurgence of funny animal videos are finally making a comeback in between the constant political TikToks and 3 a.m. doom scrolling sessions.
A Missouri woman, Brenda Ruth Dutch, was arrested on 3 accounts of child abuse and endangerment. The investigation began because of allegations that she had traded her child for a monkey. Yes, an actual monkey. Personally, I would have gone for emeralds, but hey. Luckily, the child is now in better hands after being found somewhere in Texas. The allegations have not yet been proven against her, although according to authorities, a handful of monkeys were found at Brenda's home. Brenda has fostered over 200 children in over 70 years of life, so who knows how long this monkey business has been going on for.
Sports anchor and local craze maniac Ian Dumas went all out this week, dropping $700 on Washington Capitals memorabilia in a full-blown frenzy. After Capitals captain Alexander Ovechkin's shattered NHL goal record, Ian couldn't contain his excitement. In a celebration that can only be described as legendary, he emptied his pockets in honor of his hockey hero. His haul included 2 different jerseys, themed pillowcases, and even a stuffed Alexander Ovechkin. Don't know what he's doing with that. Perfectly paired with his OV bed sheets, of course. Definitely don't know what he's doing with that. Let's just say, if there's an award for the ultimate superfan, Ian's already slept on it. Literally. And speaking of Ian Dumas, let's send it to the Golden Wolf Rundown.
Welcome back for another week of the Golden Wolf Rundown. I'm Ian Dumas, and let's get you started off with this week's sports. So, starting on the 11th, we got men's golf, and they're officially heading out to the greens of Rochester in New York. Fun stuff there. If you want to catch them on the greens, that one starts at 9:45. Men's and women's track and field are going on. They got a Messiah Invitational that starts at noon. Fun stuff. And then we're going to move on to 4:12, where men's golf is going to be doing their thing again. Around the same time, 9:45, you can catch them on the green. Men's and women's track and field. Catch them at their Messiah Invitational. That one's going to start a little bit earlier at 10 a.m., so that's going to be a morning start for those of you that want to catch it. We have men's tennis at Albright, right here in Reading. That should be a really good one. That one starts at noon. You guys can actually catch me there. I'll be doing it on my personal channel. We have women's lacrosse. They're going to be all the way at Stevenson. That's going to be a long drive for them, Maryland. But that game's going to start around 1 p.m. I have men's lacrosse versus Stevenson right here in Reading. Catch that one right at the stadium, 7 p.m. And then to finish off the day, softball will be playing at Stevenson, and that's a 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. doubleheader. Should be a lot of fun. Moving on to the 13th, pretty light day there. We have women's golf, and they're at York College for an invitational. That one's going to start at 1 p.m. when you can see them officially hit the green. And then we have baseball versus Stevenson. That's right here in Reading. That's a 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. doubleheader. Moving on to the 14th, I have women's golf at York College again. And then we have baseball at Stevenson. That's an 11 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. start. Moving on to the 15th, baseball's going to Rutgers Camden. Have fun there, guys. 3:30 p.m. start. Softball will be at Immaculata as well. That one's going to start around 3 as well. Then moving on to the 16th, I have men's tennis versus York College. Come catch these guys out for a senior day. Oh, my God. Jaden Lewis and Luke Berger, they're graduating this year. Come watch these guys. They are incredible, absolute studs when they play. And, it should be certainly an interesting matchup for them. I also have men's lacrosse at Eastern University for a 3:30 p.m. start. Best of luck to Jimmy Sparacchio on his big run. He's gunning it for a record in goals here at Alvernia. And then we're going to have a special guest on later from lacrosse, so I'll talk more about him. And then I also have myself with the women's lacrosse. They're going to be right here on campus versus Eastern. That one's going to start at 6 p.m. A little bit of a later start, but you guys can get down here for that one. I have men's and women's track and field at York College around 4 p.m. And then that's going to move us right into the 18th. The 18th is a pretty light day. You can catch the men's golf on the greens at the St. Joseph Invitational. That one's going to start around noon. And then finally with the 19th, we got baseball at Albright. So that's going to be right here in Reading, PA. It's a doubleheader, so you guys can catch 2 games. That'll be a 12 p.m. and a 3 p.m. start. Softball will be also against Albright here. That's a 1 p.m. and a 3 p.m. start. And then lastly, I have men's lacrosse starting at 12 against Hood. And then men's tennis will be at Stevenson for 1 p.m. Now, moving on, I'm going to have Matt and Tommy once again join me for Off the Bench.
Off the bench. Get in there.
Well, welcome Matt and Tony. How we doing?
Well, thanks for having us, Ian. It's an honor to be here. And to start things off, we're going to have a mishmash of kind of sports here today. So Florida just won the men's basketball tournament. How you guys feel about that? I'll start with you, Tony.
Well, I think Florida definitely deserved it. They were probably the second team that I would have picked. The Duke collapse against Houston, that really surprised me. And then Houston in the championship game, what was that final possession? That was absolutely, it looks like they never even played basketball before. I don't even know what's going on. So, yeah.
I'm preparing for the Florida Gators dynasty. They're gonna do basketball this year, next year football, and they're gonna do basketball the year after. Watch, they're gonna repeat the 2000 dynasty. But no, it's certainly a good win for them. They're such a great university when they play this type of, when they play in the March Madness every year. So
yeah. So I mean, Florida's definitely not gonna win the men's football. I don't know where you're getting that from. But yeah, good job by Florida. And next up, we have Alex Ovechkin.
Whoa, wait. I have one thing for you. Oh, I just have to, lay this out in front of you here. Sorry. Thank you. Who do we have?
All right, thanks, Ian, for interrupting, snot nose, whatever. So Alex Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's goal record of 894. Alex Ovechkin has 895 goals, a huge accomplishment. And thanks to Ian for being a major D1 glazer on Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
I love the guy.
So, Tony, what do you think about that?
I mean, great for Ovechkin, but he's not Gretzky still for me. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who played hockey in the 80s. It's a totally different time. Ovechkin's had a lot harder time playing in an era where, hockey is no longer the same. And you just got to admire a lot of the skill that the guy has and, just how he's able to play such a young game at an old age. So, I'm happy for it. The NHL's actually had a lot for him because of it. And, he's doing a lot of good stuff with the goal record. So, overall, I would say it's a good thing.
Yeah, all that, and he's still not better than Sidney Crosby, though. So now we'll go into the MLB here. Who's your favorite early on?
I actually like the Cubs. The pitching has just been good for them so far, and the bats have just cracked for some odd reason. And I think it's an improvement from where they were last year, so I got a good feeling about them. That and the Padres, I know, I got two, but I have a soft spot for the Padres because of Soto.
All right, you're on some glazing today, Ian. Soto, Ovechkin, everything going on. Tony, how about you?
I don't like being biased too much, but I have to say the Phillies. Now, there is some things that I do question. Romano, completely, I don't know what's going on with him. He's got to get that together, get another bullpen arm. He's one of the bad things, and then Bohm also needs to get his confidence up. But everybody else, I think they're firing on all cylinders, and like Castellanos is hitting for power. He's more disciplined. Stuff like that is really important to get this team to where they need to go. So I think they're one of the favorites so far.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be the Padres. I think the Padres are just the best team in the MLB all around. Great pitching, great hitting. Fernando Tatis is on a heater to start the year. And to finish off today, just in one word, who do you think is going to win the NBA championship, and who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup? Just one word and your team. Who do you think? I'll start with you, Tony.
Okay, so in the NBA, I got to say the Celtics, just too much talent. And the NHL, I think the Winnipeg Jets, I just think they're overall the best team offensively, defensively. I think they got it all.
Ian, how about you? Actually, we don't even need to ask you who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup.
Whoa, wait. I might surprise you. But for the NBA championship, I got the Cavs. I think it's their year. They've done so good this year, and they've looked amazing all throughout. So I got to hand it to them, and I really do think they're going to go all the way on this one. And for the Stanley Cup, I really want to see the Caps do it just for Ovechkin, but Tony, while I agree with you about the Winnipeg Jets, they're going to get the President's Trophy curse. I actually might go with the Dallas Stars on this one. I like Jake Ottinger, and I think, Dallas just has a really good team going into it.
Yeah, for me, the NBA, it's going to be the Lakers, LeBron, Luka. You can't count them out in the playoffs. For the NHL, in an unfathomable way, I'm agreeing with Ian. I think the Dallas Stars are the best team to win the Stanley Cup. So, thank you all for joining me, Tony, and Ian for Off the Bench. Next week we'll be a break for the Easter holiday, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thanks.
And now for a special in-studio segment of A Moment With. Now, as mentioned before, I have a very special guest joining me here today. The greatest goalie in Alvernia lacrosse history. He's made more saves than anybody, has played more minutes than anybody, and is an absolute superstar stud. I got Dane Sabarese here with me.
Thank you, Ian. I appreciate you having me on. A lot of high praise there, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Certainly a pleasure. I love goalies.
Awesome.
So, let's start off. You're a record goalkeeper. What is that like in college to have those types of records?
Yeah, it's crazy because my high school years got cut short with COVID, obviously, as many did, and I barely eclipsed 300 saves. So now I'm sitting at about 777 or something around that, and it's some place where I never thought I'd be, and it really is just a testament to who I am as a person and what I kind of set out for. At the end of my freshman year, I made a sticky note of the save leaders and knew that I wanted to set that goal and be able to be that name at the top of it when my career was said and done here at Alvernia. So
certainly making the jump for that one. So goalie, not the most popular position in all of lacrosse. Not a whole lot of people fancy it. How do we get to the, I'm Dane Sabarese and I'm the goaltender?
Yeah, so it really started, I started playing lacrosse when I was in 4th grade, and my dad was the coach at the time, and especially at that level, nobody wants to play goalie. So he had, the extra pads, and he was like, well, you're my son. You're going to hop in there and play some goalie. So I did that for a while, probably till about 6th grade, and then I decided I wanted to score the goals and not stop them. And so I popped out and played attack a little bit for a while. And then going into high school, the coach that would have been my coach always would make comments, oh, when are you going to hop back in the net? Because my cousin was a goalie at the high school level at that point, and a very good goalie. So the coach was like, when are you going to hop in? When are you going to hop in? And then unfortunately, he passed away unexpectedly, and going into my freshman year. And so I was kind of like stuck in the between of like, oh, well, I want to keep playing attack, or, am I going to kind of dedicate myself to the position that he wanted me to play in? So when that happened, I decided that I wanted to play goalie, and then from there, just kind of stuck with it.
Based off of the accolades, sounds like you made the right decision on that one.
I appreciate it.
So, you come to college, it's a whole different field of, experience in sports. Like, what's it like getting adjusted? And you're now a journeyman. You've been doing it for almost 4 years. We're coming up on that period, right?
Yeah, so this is my last year here, and it's crazy. It definitely is a completely different game. Coming in, I had 5 other goalies just in my recruiting class with me. So on a small team of like 28 guys, having 5 goalies is pretty tough, because you're going to have a hard time kind of getting on the field, because only one goalie can play at a time. So I was probably like the 3rd string goalie in my freshman year, and played a little bit freshman year, probably like half the games. And then coming into that sophomore year is when I decided, like, hey, I want to stay here, and I want to kind of keep doing what I'm doing here. I was doing a lot of stuff outside of lacrosse that I enjoyed as well. So I just kind of put in the hard work. A couple of the goalies transferred out, so it opened up an opportunity for me to take the starting role. And then it was just kind of everything from there. But I mean, lacrosse has just taught me, how to be a man, time management. A lot of valuable things have come from the sport outside of just, what's put out there on the field.
Also probably a leader. And speaking of, you said it yourself, you were here with 5 other goaltenders. I'm sure there's a couple more in Alvernia right now. Like, what's it like sort of being the elder, mentor to these younger goaltenders? I know Jack's here, and I know there's at least one other one that we have.
Yeah, so we have Manch, Jack Mancha, and then Nate Byrne, who's a freshman that came in this year. And it's a weird feeling. It's something that I've never really kind of felt before, the kind of stepping into the mentor role, more or less. Obviously, they were coming in, and Jack saw what I did last year, and then Nate was coming into a situation where, like, he knew that I was here, and knew that I had a year left. So now it's just kind of like allowing those guys to push each other while also pushing me, so that, when I am not here next year, it's going to be a pretty good battle between the two of them. And Nate picks my brain a bunch, Jack picks my brain a bunch, and it's just it's nice, because you have that group of guys that you can always go to, because they get it, they understand it. A lot of people don't really understand, the appeal to being a goalie, but then even the frustration that comes with it, because there's a lot of highs and lows with it, and the highs are really high, and the lows can be pretty low too. So kind of leaning on those guys to, pick me up, build me back up, and like I said, just constantly compete with me every day.
Obviously, it seems like it's a really well-knit team. You guys have been on an amazing run so far. I know it's been a little bit of a road bump, but, like, come on. You guys have done so well so far. And what's it like, your team all together? How do you all support each other through that kind of stuff, the wins, the losses, and just the whole journey?
Yeah, so coming into this year, we knew we had a pretty special group. We could kind of see it in years past. But, it's a family. And that's kind of the big thing that we kind of preach every single day.
Well, Dane, thank you for coming and being here. Best of luck to you, all of you, on lacrosse for the rest of the year, and make this last season the greatest one you'll ever play at college. And best of luck to you afterwards.
Of course, thank you, Ian.
Of course.
This Sunday, April 13th, there will be a free trip to play mini golf at Shell's at 12:30. Grab your golf buddies and hit the greens.
Later that day, the Women's Council is organizing a country line dancing trip, yeehaw, to Johnny and Huns. If you don't know how, don't worry. Lessons will be provided, and line dancing will be optional later.
If you like gaming, this is your chance to show your skills. On Monday, April 14th, Big Screen Mario Kart will be hosted on the Quad at 8 p.m.
Do you believe in magic? David Anthony the Magician will be on campus Tuesday, April 15th. Come to the Francis Hall Theater to see what tricks he has up his sleeve. And that has been the Alvernia Campus Show, Braden. Anything you want to sign off with?
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and also follow our Instagram account for our next episodes. Unfortunately, next week we will not be having an episode going up. And that should be it.
All right. Well,
Thank you for watching.
Have a good one.